Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved and little beings, and good-looking people. Maybe you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. That's the definition of a good-looking person. Always looking for and finding the good in the world. That's why you tuned in consciously and conscientiously to Ion Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, known as the Ambassador of Joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy, the ambassador of joy. And you tuned in to I in Las Vegas, one reason only, because you care the most in the entire world about you. And you know that when you turn into this show that you're going to meet some amazing, upbeat, interesting, fascinating, challenging people. So let's just take a look before we bring on our amazing guest today, wonderful Darren Waller. I'm just going to let you know, when I speak to people all over the world, I travel the world. Whenever I mention two words, people's eyes light up. And those two words are Las Vegas, because this is a place of energy, of upbeat, of opportunity, all kinds of wonderful things. I want to give you an insight into something. If you take the entire population of New York City and everything around it, the entire population of Chicago and all the people around it, the entire population of Los Angeles and all the people, are millions and millions of people, it doesn't add up to the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a year. More than 41 million people come through this amazing place, because this is a place of high energy, a place where things happen, opportunity abounds, and it's fun and it's good and it's interesting. So we're going to meet now one of the more interesting people that I've had the pleasure of interacting with in the past couple of years, and you're just going to love him because he's a star. He's been through stuff, and he's going to share with you wonderful insights in life. So please welcome the amazing, wonderful Darren Waller. Darren, please say hello to 501,921 people around the world.
Let's go. How we doing, everybody? Hope y'all having a great day so far. Barry, thanks for having me. I'm grateful to be here.
Thank you, Darren. So those of you who know anything about American football, and again, we have a worldwide audience. So when I mention football, Darren, people sometimes think of that other thing. We're talking American football. People who know anything about American football know that Darren was there. He was a star. And we're going to talk a little bit about his journey and about what it means to be an NFL star, even playing in the pros, but just by being a star, and the things that you go through and the challenges of life and the real issues of dealing with stuff. We'll call it addiction for the moment. But what I'd like to do, Darren, right now is just talk to us about, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Let's be blunt. I don't think there's a kid in the United States of America who doesn't dream about playing in the NFL. I mean, just why not, right? It's one of the greatest things you can ever. When did it first strike you? When did you hold in your hands either a ball or run or recognize that, hey, there's something special here. I like this. I'm good at this. When did that happen?
I knew I was good at the age of 5. It was probably my second year playing. I started playing when I was 4. I never once thought I'm going to the league. Never once thought that throughout even until I got to the league, I never really thought that, to be honest. But when I was a kid, I feel like I have a feel for the game and have instincts that other people don't have.
Oh, so this is really fascinating. I have a feel for the game and instincts, because when you're on the field, something else takes over, right? No matter how much training you have, no matter what, all the coaching, all the plays, it's the ability to read the moment, isn't it?
Yep. Read the moment at full speed and to be able to adapt to things that you haven't planned for.
Woo! Okay. So you played for a number of different teams. I think 3 different teams, right? Yep. And one of the reasons we're talking, where did you grow up, by the way? What city and state?
I grew up in suburban Atlanta, Georgia. Nobody knows where Ackworth, Georgia is, so I just say.
Right. So would you say Alpharetta?
Ackworth.
Oh, you're right. I don't know about that. Okay, but for people around the world, just think of Atlanta, Georgia. And Atlanta is, first of all, it's a great city in the whole, all the environs, and it's a great sports city. I mean, and when you have a talent, even though you don't see yourself in the pros, in other words, that was not one of your drivers, but when you know that you have a proclivity for doing something in sports. When you were in high school, were you considered a prodigy? Were they, hey, look at this guy, he's a star?
No, I was I was the third highest recruited player on my high school team. There were two other guys that had more scholarships, more attention from coaches than I did. There were coaches that would come in and they would offer those two guys and would leave the building and go on to wherever they were going next. So I was not a prodigy. I think people saw like my body type and like the potential I had to play maybe like multiple positions and thought like maybe one day down the road he could be a good player, but nobody saw me doing what I was doing in the NFL now. Nobody saw that back then.
So let's take a look at something. I want to emphasize what you just said because it's important for people who are watching and listening. This is not about, hey, I'm an NFL star. On the contrary, you hear what he said? I think it's the A word that got you where you are. And that's called attitude. The ability to not give up, to follow through. In other words, you weren't the one. You're the frog. You didn't get kissed. The other two got it, right? And you were passed by, and yet you really understood that by working hard and diligently and just keep being you, something magical could happen. Is that true?
100%. It's more so about, I would say, the habits that you have and the principles that you live by, because there were so many people at that time that were rated higher than me, that had people thought had greater potential, that, you know, I got to college level and found a way, made room for myself. And then got drafted late, almost went undrafted, made the team, and continued to make room for myself on special teams. And then even when I got suspended and came back, there was just like this part of me that's like, if I bring like a spirit of excellence to individual plays, individual drills, that will stack up and give me the results that I want. So it's not necessarily about when do I arrive somewhere. It's about what am I doing right here in this moment, because that will create room for me to have opportunities I was unable to have one day.
Okay, that's why I'm so honored and humbled to have Darren with us today. Because as I mentioned in the beginning here, this show is not about Darren, great guy that he is, Barry Shore, fabulous fellow. It's about you watching, you listening, and hearing what Darren's saying, to be able to bring your special magic wherever you are in that moment and to be the best you can be. Now, let's be blunt. Pro football is a team sport, much more so, let's say, than baseball. Baseball, a lot of individuality when you're up there. In football, don't you play in a team environment more than in an individual environment, or am I not right?
Yeah, you play in a team environment. Hold on, sorry, these shades closed. I have no idea why.
That's okay. You keep talking.
Now they're reopening. I have no idea what is going on.
That's okay. We can see you fine. We can see you. That's good.
So can you repeat that question, please?
Yeah. So football is a team sport. Now, obviously, you're there. Let's say you're carrying the ball. You want to make sure that you gain the yardage. You're going to be there to get the first down, et cetera, break through, get that touchdown, whatever it is. However, you're playing with 10 other guys, 11 guys. So everything is built around the team. How do you create a team spirit when everybody is a star?
There's got to be humility involved, I believe. There has to be, because I mean, I'm a guy, like, people saw me, I got a lot of passes. I was one of the main people involved in the offense for a long time for the Raiders. But there were a lot of situations where I had to block in certain situations to serve the team that day. I had to do things and have responsibilities that maybe were things I didn't necessarily want to do, weren't high on my preference list, that helped the team and serve the team, where other people may have got the ball more on certain days, or, sharing the wealth around, having a more balanced attack as an offense and as a team. So it takes knowing that, it takes the offensive line to block for me to be able to catch a pass. It takes the quarterback being on his game for me to catch a pass. So it's like, how about I build relationships with those people and let them know that I care about what they're doing. I care about what they're providing, because they help me be more successful. It's not just me rolling out here and being a one-man army. It takes everyone. And it's knowing that at the end of the day, if everybody doesn't do their job, I don't get to shine. And inversely, I get to shine because everybody else is shining at their responsibilities as well.
So this is so wonderful, because let's be very blunt. Why is pro football today the national sport in America? It used to be baseball was the national pastime. I think let's be, all the people, the money, et cetera. It's more about football. And football is exactly what you just said. You have at one and the same time humility and shining stars. And yet it doesn't happen until everybody is working together for the benefit of the team. And isn't that so much the reality of real life? The ability to be in a relationship with other people and the ability to be in a relationship with oneself and be humble and know that as much as you want to accomplish in life, it really has to do with who you are. Now, let's talk about, you mentioned a couple of things here. Here you were a star. I'm just going to give you people a statistic. So Darren rushed for over 1,000 yards in one particular season. And just to put that in perspective, that doesn't happen very often. You're talking about people like Emmitt Smith and some of the most famous football players in the game to be able to go and carry a ball for 1,000 yards in a season, right? But you also mentioned that you were suspended a number of times. Why, Darren?
I was suspended because of repeated violations of substance abuse policies. I was alcoholic and a drug addict, and that got me suspended from my college team multiple times, got me kicked off my high school basketball team, got me suspended by the Baltimore Ravens once for 4 games. And the second time I was banned from the NFL for a year. So that should probably let you know how many drugs and drinks were consumed to make that happen.
Okay, so people who are watching right now, as opposed to just listening, so you should look at his face when he said it. He said it with a very wry smile. I mean, he's not happy and proud of what he did. What he is happy and proud, and one of the reasons I'm so happy that he's here today, is that he was able to recognize that he was an addict and he was addicted. An addict and he was alcoholic, and he got through it. See, it's one thing to be addicted. It's another to recognize it, and it's a third to recover. And the greatest stars in the world have all been through stuff, haven't we, wonderful Darren?
Yeah, no doubt.
And by the way, if you could do it again, obviously you would do it without that. However, at the time, part of your success was driven by this either inability to recognize that you were a star and therefore had obligations to a team. And yet the addiction was so strong, you couldn't stop it. So even when you got suspended, let's say for a year, tell us about what it means to be suspended from the NFL.
Yeah, at the time you think it's probably like, this is the darkest time. I mean, it was, because I ended up overdosing 2 months after my suspension was given out. But that year ended up being the most pivotal year of my life as for Darren Waller, the person. I don't think that if I were to approach recovery and, building a new foundation for my life as a means to get back to football, I don't think we'd be talking about the situation. But it was a situation where I didn't even want to go back to playing football. I'm just trying to build a new foundation for Darren Waller, the person, to live a life to where he doesn't have to tear himself down with substances, thinking that he's trying to find peace. So being able to go through that process with no reservations, I got to get back to the league. It was just like, no, like I was working at Sprouts Farmers Market as a grocery clerk. Like I was living a regular life. And then, having God, who God is to me, come back into the picture and guide me back into football and give me purpose through what I had been through. That's things that I can't script myself. But that year for me ended up being pivotal and gave me the tools and the ability to regulate myself and navigate the challenges of life and to be able to uphold the success that was coming my way, because I didn't necessarily have the tools to be able to handle it before. And that's why I don't think God was trying to give it to me.
Well, hello, everybody. You're listening to Real Life. Now, we're going to go to a commercial break, just only a minute or so. We're going to be back with more Darren on the other side of this, because this is really intriguing. People are on the edge of their seat, Darren. So everybody, don't go away, because there's more of this amazing star, Darren Waller, on the other side. Don't miss it.
What if you could shop at your favorite local stores, swipe your current credit card, and get extra cashback rewards? And what if you could also have donations sent to your favorite cause at no extra cost to you? What if this amazing program was absolutely free and very simple to set up? Well, What If is here. Welcome to Einstein Cares, where your everyday shopping gives you and your favorite cause extra money. It's fast, it's easy, and effortless.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved immortal beings, and good-looking people. Maybe good-looking because I was looking for and finding the good. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Darren Waller, and Darren was an NFL superstar. And he's talking to us about what it means to be a great football player, a great athlete, and yet not have peace in your life, and therefore fall into the deepest, darkest well that a human could go into: alcoholism, drugs, and finding himself overdosing. So on that high note, wonderful Darren, let's go back and tell people around the world, here you are, suspended from the most glorious place in the world where everybody fantasizes about being, the National Football League, great player, and now, as you say, suspended 4 games in 1 year, suspended for an entire year from the NFL because of substance abuse, and now you're working as a clerk in a grocery store. Are you able yet to find peace?
Yeah, I mean, contrary to what most people may think, the level of self-respect and probably dignity that was present when I was working at Sprouts and just trying to build the foundations of my recovery was much higher than any time I had been in the NFL or playing football or any achievements before that, without question. Because, I mean, it's a rat race, man. Like you're trying to achieve, you're trying to, in a lot of ways, football was a people-pleasing tool for me because I didn't really feel like I fit in or was accepted unless I was performing. So you have that element to it as well. And it just is exhausting and draining for a person. And so for me to be able to put all that to the side and just be myself and give an honest try at bettering my life, I felt better there than I did on that big, beautiful stage that you just described.
So I want to make mention of something you just said because it is truly penetrating. And I'm telling you, we have, thank God, hundreds of thousands of people around the world listening. And I always urge people, share this with 5 people. You want to share with 50 or 100, that's great too. But at least 5 people. Let's touch millions of people with this remarkable insight that Darren is giving us. And follow us on Spotify and Apple because it makes a difference. People want and need to hear this. I'm going to emphasize a couple of things you just said because it's truly wonderful. And that is that when you're on the stage and you're out there, you're a people pleaser, guess what that does? It was draining, you said. Now, we live in a digital age, right? These things go off and on, yes and no, etc. In real life, Darren, you're either a drain or a fountain. And you found out that the stage that you were playing on was a draining stage. And what you really wanted in life was to be a fountain. And the only way you can be a fountain is through service. And when you were working at Sprouts, guess what you were doing? You were in service. You were in service to other people. Yes, you were looking for Darren Waller. However, by bagging groceries, helping out, having a smile, and being involved with other people, you were in service. Service makes you a fountain. And when you're a fountain, you can live a beautiful, bountiful, beloved life. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I feel like the suffering that I endured for the most part was from the root of everything was about me. It was like a self-centered fear, almost fear that I wouldn't be accepted, that I wouldn't be loved or appreciated, that I would be left. And it's like, and then the using of the drugs and alcohol became about, I want to change the way that I feel. And down the road, it came, at the cost of some pretty major consequences. But I was still choosing to change the way I felt, despite how it made other people feel. And, but yeah, a life of fulfillment comes from when it's like, it's not all about me. I don't have to suffer as much. When I'm connected to other people, I see them, I see myself in them. They can see themselves in me. And I'm connected because, the disease of addiction is isolation at its core. It gets you away from the love and the connection that is available to you that can nourish you and enliven you on a day-to-day basis.
So much wisdom from such a young man. It's wonderful. The essence of addiction is isolation. And you needed that at some point. Like you just said, you were an alcoholic and a drug addict. Now, I'm going to make a statement or actually ask a question. You're not alone. I know a number of pro athletes in different sports. And I think in football, it's not uncommon for this to occur. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. And it's like, as an addict, they use this term, you feel terminally unique, like your set of problems and things that you go through, nobody else
Right.
goes through them. When really there are guys that are suffering silently in the next locker to you or the next one down. There's guys in the locker room that are going through the same things, maybe not vocalizing it or showing it to anyone, but there are people out there going through what you're going through. And once you're able to have the courage to share that with others, you may actually give them permission to come out and share about their own issues. So it's powerful once that common ground can be established.
Have you been able to reach out and back to other players, people who are either playing now or people who have played and who are in a dark place?
Yeah, I mean, there's been guys like a former teammate of mine, Max Crosby. I mean, he got sober, and his career has been incredible. He's on his second $100 million contract. And the thing is, we never had a conversation about it. He always just said, like, because his rookie year was 2019 for me, which was like my first big year, and he's a guy in the locker room that's sober, that's if not the best player, second best player at his position in the league. He's like, and he always was like, yo, like I saw the way you were moving, and I was like, this is possible. And he had an experience for himself and was able to go and do that. And there's guys like Jordan Poyer on the Bills and other guys in the league that have reached out to me and been like, yo, like I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you stepping up, because it's like, wow, I'm not alone here. I'm not crazy. Like there are other people that are experiencing this, and there's like I said, there's so much power in that.
So the power of truth, which we call pot. See, I am a pothead. Power of truth. By the way, I came up with an acronym for your name. Would you like to hear an acronym for your name, Darren? DARREN. You want to hear it?
Let's go.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Determination awakens resilience, rewarding enthusiasm naturally.
That's fire.
You like that?
I love that.
That's because I got it from you. I see, again, people who are not looking and if you're only listening, it's great. If you're able to watch, because you're seeing this dynamic young man with this beautiful, expressive face who is shining forth from his inner soul something beautiful, which is that people do go through dark times. You don't have to live in dark times. The light is all around. It's there. It's a matter of recognizing and understanding that it's a world of service rather than of self-centeredness. And that's what you know. We only have a few more minutes, so let's talk a bit about what you've been able to do with this great stardom. Thank God you played a number of seasons. You were very accomplished, and you did well. And after you came back with the light, you did even better. What are you doing now with your Darren Waller Foundation? What is that about?
The Darren Waller Foundation was started in 2020, and with the intention in mind so for my story, the NFL sent me to rehab for free, no cost to me. The place I went I think it was $65,000 for 30 days. And I didn't have to pay a dime for it. And that experience changed my life. So when I was approached with the opportunity to start something of my own, I had the mindset of, I want to give this gift that was given to me back to other people that can't afford treatment, afford the experience that changed my life. Let's just give these people a shot, because you don't know what these people can go on and do. And since we started issuing grants in 2021, we're over 75 people that have received a grant and have been able to go through treatment. And we've expanded those resources as well, because 30 days of treatment helped me to, never have to touch drugs and alcohol again. But that's not the common person's story. So with the treatment stay, there's now sober living afterwards. In those sober livings, they're teaching skills like preparing for job interviews, like whatever it is that will help them translate back into living their own lives and being able to stand on their own 2 feet. Those things are available, as well as detoxes before going to treatment. So it's just trying to expand the resources, expand the network of business and people that can help us in this community, help those people. It's been a crazy journey to be able to not only just me recover and look at my situation and see how it's changed, but to see other people's lives changed and them having opportunities to get back on their feet is it's an amazing full circle moment.
Darren, I'm known as the ambassador of joy. Joy is a great acronym. It stands for Journey of You. Joy, the Journey of You. And I am so touched. First of all, I am impressed by the league for saying, Waller, we're going to help you. That's a big thing.
No doubt.
And not only are we going to help you, we're going to pay for it. It's a great thing. So big bravo to the league.
Absolutely.
And look what the league did. By planting one seed called Darren Waller, it is now touching hundreds of lives. And those hundreds of lives will touch thousands of lives. And we call that a tsunami of goodness every day. That's what you're doing. That's what the Darren look. So this journey that you and I are talking about today is a journey of a young man that has a talent. He was looked over, and he now got into the big leagues. He's playing ball, and then he falls into this deep, dark, horrible place that managed to get out, and only by service come back, and now not only see the light, but carry the light and be the light. Isn't that a great way to live?
It's incredible, man.
Would you recommend that to everybody?
Absolutely. I would say that it requires being uncomfortable to get there. It was a very uncomfortable process for me to go from everything being about me and how I felt and wanting to use at all costs to being somebody of service. You had to uproot so many habits. There are a lot of belief systems that need to change. A lot of core values that need to be swapped out. It's an uncomfortable process, but on the other side of that discomfort is the beautiful life. Exactly what you just said.
Okay, well, I'm loath to say these words, Darren. We're coming to a close on our time together today. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Ready.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Absolutely.
Woo, thank you. Number 2, Darren Waller, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
Can you define fervent for me, please? I don't think I really know 100%.
Fervent. What drives you right now? What's your greatest desire in life?
My greatest desire in life right now is exploration, I would say. I felt like as a young kid, I decided so early on that my value was going to come through playing football that I don't think I really gave myself a chance to explore what is it that I like, what is it that I want to do just as me. And I feel like now I'm doing the things that I enjoyed doing as a kid. Like I spend a lot of time outside, and I love national parks and being in nature. I'm making music. I was in band in middle school and played piano as a kid because my great grandfather was a jazz legend. So it's like I'm doing things that.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me your grandfather was Fats Waller.
My great grandfather.
Okay, we got so much to discuss. All right. And now number 3. Okay, everybody's listening to me laughing. Why are you laughing, Mr. Shore? Look, you'll have to Google it. But number 3, can I give you a hug in front of 503,922 people around the world?
Come on, I thought you never asked.
Let me tell you what HUG stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3. And of course, this is from wonderful Darren, wonderful Barry Shore. Remember, this show is all about you and the things you learned here today. And I'd like to give a blessing from both of us. And the blessing is, go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Darren, don't go away.